My life as a child up till 10 was pretty normal. And then my parents got divorced. And then my mom quickly began dating and remarried. And from the time that I was 11 until I was 18, I was physically and mentally abused by my stepfather. And then my senior year, at the very beginning, luckily, a friend's family stepped in and they asked me to move in with them. I finished school, I graduated with my friends. One of the best years of my life was my senior year in high school. My brother right under me became the new punching bag for my stepfather. He quit school, ran away from home, and went to live with our grandmother, our dad's mother. So I say dad because that's the only father I've ever known, Jerry Lloyd, and it will always be that way. I've never met my biological father. That neighborhood was filled with young men, and every single one of them was involved with drugs, car theft, burglaries, armed robberies. And I became interested in their stories. And he tells me, I'd like for you to be my partner and rob banks. And he convinced me. And he showed me how easy it was. And then additional drugstores and grocery stores. Then I met a young woman. She became pregnant. I got scared, so I married her very quickly. I got us a home, but now my greed turned into need. Then I did 3 more savings and loan bank robberies. It wasn't long. And then on Channel 13, Eyewitness News, Dave Ward.
Number 1 in Texas, 13, Eyewitness News with Dave Ward.
He came on the TV and he said, hey, you guys that have been robbing savings and loans, your pictures are ready. And we'll be right back to show them to you after these messages. Exactly like that.
What was it like seeing your face?
I was immediately filled with fear. And my pregnant wife is sitting next to me on the couch. And then we were arrested. I'm in jail. It's November of 1986. My son was born on December 30th, 1986. So when I went in front of the judge, I was sentenced to 60 years in prison for my robberies. I was sent to a pretty bad prison unit, Beto Warren, Palestine, Texas. At the time, the largest prison in the system, 4,000 inmates. And because I had clerical experience, so I was able to obtain decent jobs while other guys might be a dishwasher in the kitchen or something of that nature. But I was able to work in schoolhouses and things like that. For the first 4 years, major attitude, and I thought about suicide all the time. And then one day, chaplain called me in and he asked me to take a seat, and he asked me why I had sent this request to be part of what's called Kairos. I had no idea what he was talking about. I had not sent a request, and I told him so. I said, what is it? And he says, it's a Christian retreat. And you pretty much live your life within this chapel for 4 days. And then he says, and there's really good food. So we're all having a ball eating that. And we're spending a lot of time together. And there's the discussions about God and your personal life and all these different things. And they help you see the light. So my whole life changed. I stay in the church. I joined the choir. I started going to junior college. I ended up earning a degree, an associate's degree from Trinity Valley Community College. And I mean, everything was different. And then I was invited to be part of Kairos again a year later to be what was called a steward, where you help the new guys that are coming in. So you're serving the food and you're helping. A year later, head steward, leading the other stewards to help. This is where the chaplain had taken me to be part of the church. And I got the associate's degree, and I had put in for a transfer to another unit at Sam Houston State University. And I was transferred to the Win Unit in Huntsville, Texas. Completely different type of unit, more mild-mannered, a lot of guys doing the same thing. And it was just different. And so I'm going to school, and then all of a sudden, I get this letter from a girl I used to ride the school bus with. Next thing I know, she's visiting me. And she's writing me letters. So Becky's visiting me and writing me, and we fall in love in the visiting room. And it wasn't long after, November of 2000, we were married by proxy. Becky owned a bail bond company business and an answering service for dental and medical doctors and dentists in Denton. She sells her house and she moves right by my family back in North Houston area, the Woodlands area, so that she could be close to them and more easily come to see me in Huntsville. She helps build a bridge with my brothers and family. She helps me get to know my son, whom I had never met, that's 13 at the time. She did everything and came to see me, sacrificed a whole day just to come see me in prison. Wrote me every single day, and I better write her back. So I wrote every day as well. And that went on for 7 years. So 4 years after we married, I graduate from Sam Houston State University. And if you look at the picture that has been shared, if you look closely at the collar area, you might see a little white, and that's my prison uniform underneath the gown. So I graduated in 2004. I still have 3 more years to do in prison. I had another good job in the sticker plant doing all kind of computer graphics, and I was just learning all these things. And Becky and one of my brothers picked me up, and she handed me a cell phone, and I had no idea what it was. We stopped to get gasoline. Self-serve pump, run your card. I have no idea what's going on. Within a couple of days, we go to Walmart to buy something, and she wants to go through the self-checkout. I'm so paranoid that somebody's going to think that I'm stealing something that I stay far away from it and grab each item so that they can see me and put it in the bag. Put it in the bag. Because I didn't want anybody to think, call that PTSD. Now it's time to get a job. And here comes a whole new struggle. 7.5 years, or a little more, I'm laid off 3 times. Depression kicks in, and money that I'd earned from those jobs, I had a beautiful black Dodge Challenger. I traded it in, I bought a van, I put logos all over this thing, and I started a pressure washing business. I had no idea what I was doing. I watched YouTube videos, and I learned how to do that stuff on my own house. But I always kept my resume up to date, and I always kept the same cover letter that talked about my past. And I know that I was getting judged on that, but I had to be honest. So I'm at home and I'm looking on my computer and there's this post for a job. And I look at it and I'm like, man, I can do this standing on my head. It's all the stuff that I did at 3 different places rolled into one for some place called Volunteers of America.
We got a new grant through HUD. It is a permanent supportive housing grant. Now, I call myself a quick study, but I know that that wasn't my subject matter expertise. I needed a strong team that could come in, understand that population, but made it more specific and unique. It was in Montgomery County. God, find me with a leader that could manage this team, that has this same vision to find people that could really support this team. And in some grants, they say, find people that have lived experience, but that language can be tricky sometimes.
And I go in, he has his laptop in front of him, and he says, I have somebody I want you to meet, all serious. And so I'm like waiting for somebody to walk in, and this guy takes his laptop and he spins it around, spinning the screen is this bubbly, grinning face. Hi, I'm Denita Wadley, and I've heard a lot about you. And she interviews me on this screen.
The dynamic gentleman, impeccable resume. And I knew what we were paying, so I laughed and said, he's gonna turn it down. I don't think he's gonna take the job. After I got the email with his resume and the setup,
I probably said yes, ma'am, 15 times. And I went home and I started working for Volunteers of America on May 15, 2017, as a case manager to help homeless people get off the streets in Montgomery County.
And for those that don't know about that county, it's about 50 miles north of Houston, and it has a rural homeless population.
And it blended with all these other things that I had already done, including the database that I'd been trained for up and down, that it was just nothing for me to be able to handle this. It was for so many years, I was treated like a number. Everyone that walks through the door of any office of Volunteers of America has a need. So I don't treat them like a number. I treat them like a human, like a person, like I care. The most rewarding part is I know that I'm making a difference in people's lives every single day.
Now, I know a lot of your work family don't know this story.
No, they don't.
What would you like them to know about your experience in sharing what you shared today?
First thing I want to say is, just like I was Tim yesterday, I'm Tim today. Nothing's changed. I'm still that guy that likes to crack a joke and fun around and have a ball at work in between all the things that we do to help change people's lives. Important to me is our very next potluck. I wish I would hurry up and organize one because it's been a while and I think I'm losing a little weight. But besides that, maybe this new light you may see me in can assist you, can help you, can help your department, can help me grow and help you grow. While imagine Tim, the ex-con, who's been through it all, made something of himself and stands in front of your group and tells them the story. I think that would be impactful.
I love Next Chances because most of us need grace to have more than a second chance. And when we talk about Next Chances at Volunteers of America, Texas, we talk about the people we serve that are vulnerable, that deserve the opportunity and deserve the grace to come in and provide financial stability for their families. When we talk about that, we're generally talking about clients and people we serve. But in my heart and in the leadership part of this organization, we are also talking about those that work for us.
During my lifetime, I've been through a variety of storms and fires and had to fight through all of that. And I believe that because I survived those things is the reason I became the man I am today.